A light breeze rustles through the trees of a forest in the mountainside. Inside the forest is a student and their master, a tabaxi named Bright Eyes, who stands in silent meditation. He hears the footsteps of his young pupil arriving. He speaks without moving or opening his eyes.
You have questions, young one?
I do, Master. I've been meditating like you asked, and... What we are doing, what we study, this is not evil, right?
Bright Eyes breathes deeply and releases from his meditation. He sweeps his foot against the ground in a wide semicircle, his body flowing back and forth as he stiffens his stance, facing a row of training dummies. A black aura begins to glow around his body.
Tell me, how do you think we relate to the way of the sun soul?
The student pauses, unsure how to answer.
That they are our opposite? They oppose us?
Close. Please watch carefully.
The dark energy surrounding Bright Eyes focuses on his fists and feet. Like a gust of wind, he spins his body, unleashing a high kick from his back foot. The black energy hurtles toward one of the dummies. Bright Eyes slowly lowers his leg to the ground, rotating his other foot backwards.
The way of the sun soul is the path of radiance, of brightness. They harness their own life energy into pure light. The way of the moon soul is a path of darkness. We instead harness from the world around us. We are opposites, but we do not oppose each other. Instead, you could think of us as a reflection of each other.
Bright Eyes balls his fists and punches forward, unleashing another volley of attacks. Bright Eyes relaxes and backflips to his student.
We may be opposite in our nature, but we are part of the delicate balance of all things, of light and dark, birth and death.
So, they represent the light, and we are the dark.
We all represent the light and dark, young one, as all beings have light and dark inside of them. The way of the moon soul harnesses the darkness into necrotic energy. When people think of necrotic energy, they think of the undead, rotting, evil.
Bright Eyes smiles warmly at his young pupil.
Tell me, what will happen when I die?
The student looks out into the mountains, their eyes shimmering.
You'll be gone, and I will have no master.
You will find another master. Worry not. What will happen is that I will be buried. I will be mourned. But eventually, my body shall return to the earth what it gave me. I shall become one with nature which first bore me into this world. Let us continue the lesson elsewhere.
Bright Eyes guides the two of them as they walk into the forest. The student looks back to the training ground and notices Bright Eyes' movement carved a crescent moon and stars into the ground.
Many people think that the students of the way of the moon soul harness the dark forces from within themselves. But that is not true. We do not take from within, but instead, we borrow from the world around us.
The two of them stop at a stream where Bright Eyes picks up a jagged rock. He holds it in his hand and squeezes until he bleeds.
Master, what are you doing?
Bright Eyes does not speak, but instead breathes in slowly as the black necrotic energy swirls in his hand. The bleeding stops and the wounds seal shut.
The way of the moon soul harnesses the energy swirling around us and allows us to heal our flesh and blood, for we know that it shall return to the soil when we die.
The two continue their journey as the lesson continues.
But why do we use necrotic energy? Isn't that for necromancers and liches and stuff? Why can't it be something else?
But there's your answer. As evil as the necromancers and liches may seem, they understand the power of necrotic energy and how it can restore as much as it can destroy.
But that is evil.
The way they use it is evil, young one. We do not seek to use necrotic energy for power. We seek it for enlightenment and tranquility. A meditation of the void that can help us reach enlightenment. In life, there is light and there is dark. But without one, you cannot have the other.
If what you're saying is true, why do people think so poorly of this path? What are they afraid of?
Your own question contains the answers again. It is exactly that. Fear. They do not know of our communion with nature. They do not know of how we harness from the world and not ourselves. They think of us like those necromancers and liches you mentioned earlier.
The student blushes at their own comments.
People are afraid of the dark, afraid of the night. They fear the unknown. They fear what it hides. The way of the moon soul does not fear the dark, but finds peace in its darkness, tranquility in the silence of the night. People think that only the dark can blind you.
The two of them enter a clearing where the sun shines brightly. The bright light forces the student to squeeze their eyes.
Too much light is blinding.
Bright Eyes puts his hands over the student's eyes as they continue.
Hey!
Too much dark does the same thing. The key is balance.
Bright Eyes uncovers his pupil's eyes and reveals a shady spot where the older students are practicing.
Just as the oceans ebb and flow, so too does the dark and the light. The sun and moon are in an eternal dance, opposites but equals. And so too do the ways of the moon and sun. We are opposites, yes, but also equals. Friends and allies in the noble pursuit of balance. Now come, young one. It is time to train.